Now we're going to do a couple of quick practice problems related to factor markets in the introduction that we just did on the previous page. So the first 8 here are all statements that are asking us, does the factor demand or the factor supply change, or no shift, right? Or no change is the other way to say that. So we are asking about the demand for the factor or the worker that produces it, not the actual product itself. So new demand for the product has increased the price of the product. So price, right, is a demand shifter for factors. The price of the product, we should say, right? Because if the price goes up, then therefore the MRP rises. So that's a change in demand. For the second one, people begin to take more leisure time. That's going to reduce the supply, so it's a change in supply. Doctors release a study claiming the product is healthy. If that's true, therefore the demand for the product should rise. If that's true, the price of the product rises, so the MRP rises. So we would say change in demand. Wage rate for workers decreases. Now this is tricky. Wages don't shift the curve, right? Let's come back for a second, take a look here. Wages don't shift the curve. Wages don't shift the curve because it's actually just the price of the thing, of the worker. So we would say that one is a no change. Social values lead more women to enter the labor force. That's going to increase the supply of workers, so that's a change in supply. This one usually throws students off. Improved technology raises productivity of the workers. Productivity, price of the worker, productivity, aha! So if they're more productive, right, that's this field over here where they have more marginal product, that makes their MRP higher, and that changes the demand. So this is a demand change. That one's a tricky one, but it's productivity of the workers. So if there were increased productivity of the machines, right, if the machines were more productive, that would increase the demand for the machines. Lower birth rates and immigration restrictions reduce population growth. That decreases the supply, so that's a change in supply. Okay? And so what it's worth, this one, MRP rises. And it's because the MP rose. Sorry if you can't, that's my chicken scratch, but marginal product going up, therefore MRP goes up. Stock market and housing crisis causes decline in household wealth. Wealth is going to affect people's willingness to go out and get a job. They're going to say, ooh, I need to rebuild my wealth, and so I'm going to increase my job hunting and working, so that's going to change the supply. So that kind of coming back to our shifters here, immigration, wealth, educational efforts, leisure preferences, culture. Those are all shifters of supply. Now let's take a look at the bottom couple of problems. These are actually pretty quick. This one relies, suppose that the cost of capital for a firm for 1 day is $300 per unit. So we would say the rent is $300, and that workers are paid $200 a day. So the wage is $200. The marginal product of the last worker is $1,200. So MPL equals $1,200, and the MP of the last unit of capital is $800. MPK equals $800 is the firm at its cost minimizing output. And what that's saying is, are they doing this correctly, this problem that we just solved? Well, this is a lot easier, actually. All we have to do is instead, I'm going to put these notes right here, is put MP of K over R. So that's 800 over R, 300. And then we put MPL, 1,200, over the wage, 200. And we say, are these equal? That's 6. That's 2 2/3. No, they are not. 6 is bigger than 2 2/3. So, which one should they hire more of? And now this one, we're going to say Mr. Pac-Man here, he's going to eat more, nom nom, more worker. So the firm should hire more labor, because these are coming from labor, and these are coming from capital. And so they should hire less machines and more workers. And if they do that, then the next worker who they hire is going to actually have a lower marginal product. So this value, the 6, will get smaller. If they decide, let's back off of the number of machines we hire, the previous machine had a higher MPK than 800. The previous machine inevitably might have had maybe 1,000 for its So this number will get larger. And as the firm hires more workers and less machines, these two numbers will get closer and closer to being equal, which is their cost minimizing output. Okay? So now we're going to do the very last problem. So the last problem says, following 5 firms are employing resources, prices of inputs are as follows. Land 5, labor 10, capital 25. So then there's some columns here. Fill in the table to determine if any of the firms are using cost-minimizing combinations of inputs. Which, if any, are using it? Okay. So MP of land divided by the rent for land. MP of labor divided by the wage. MP of capital divided by the rent that we have to pay for the capital. So MP of labor, or of land, 15. How much is the land? 5. So 15 over 5 is 3. 40 over 5 is 8. 10 over 5 is 2. 20 over 5 is 4. And then 10. Okay. MP of labor over the wage. Wage is 10, so this is 5, 4, 2, 4, 2. MPK over the rent, that's 25. 100 over 25 is 4. 25 goes into 75 3 times. 5, 4, 3. Are any of them where MPK of R equals MPL of W equals MP land of rent for land? Are any of them where the numbers are all equal? Let's see, 3, 5, 4. Nope. 8, 4, 3. Nope. 2, 2, 5. Nope. 4, 4, 4. Aha! Firm D. Firm D. But not E. 10, 2, 3. Those numbers are not equal. So what should we do? What would we suggest? So what should A do? Well, A, 3, 5, and 4. Well, A should probably reduce the thing with the bigger, reduce the thing with the smaller, because they want to eat more of the thing with Pac-Man. They want to eat more of the thing that gives them the biggest, and less of the thing that gives them the smallest. So less land, and increase, what's the bigger? Labor. Okay? What should B do? And we'd say this one is in between the two, so we leave it alone. Here, they get more from their land, so they should increase from land. And what should they do here for the third one? Oh, they need a lot less of that one. Reduce their capital. Okay? C, 2, 2, 5. So they should do less of land and less labor. Less land, less labor, and increase capital. We already said D is good. And E, they want more of the bigger number, so more land, and less probably labor, and we're kind of unsure about the capital. Right? Maybe they would want to increase or decrease the capital as well. It's not totally clear. But we definitely would want to increase land because we get a lot more from that than we do from the labor. So this is probably about as exciting and as complex as this type of problem gets, where you're really just saying like which ones of these are the bigger ones and which ones do you want more of is always the bigger number. Okay, so hopefully that helps you a little bit. I will see you next time.